I like deserted scenes and walking alone on long roads. You don't need to talk to anyone, just a road and a truck. This is very soothing for me. But this usually does not happen. At least the state is in Ohio. This was a stretch of road where there was no sign of life. I was driving on a deserted road. That was such an area. You wouldn't see any vehicle or any other IRA or any town for hours in the distance. When around midnight I felt something wrong with my truck's engine. A medium sound was so faint at first that I did not pay attention. But then it started making a loud rattling sound over and over again. I glanced at the dashboard. There was no rewarning light on. Everything seemed fine, but there was an odd moderate coughing sound coming from the engine. The sound was intact, but there was no sign of any malfunction. The next truck stop was 2 hours away. I thought it wasn't a serious issue, but it was a struggle. At least I will get there, that is what I thought. After about 20 minutes the fluttering turned into a full-blown rattle, and before I could understand anything the sound of the engine stopped. The truck slowly came to the side of the road but remained silent. I sat there for a while, holding the steering wheel tightly, but the deep silence left me alone. The truck has never given me any major issues before. I always took care of it very carefully. I was hoping it was just a minor glitch. I turned the key to the dead engine. It did not start. There was just a creepy clicking sound. The heat of the night air hit me like a wall. I got out of the cabin and turned on the hazard lights. Although it was quite a while since the sun had set, but the nights in Sarag are cold. There was some strange relief in the air. I am not a mechanic. I took a flashlight out of my toolbox and opened the bonnet. I know the basics, but there was no VAZ malfunction. There was no sign of damage. Everything looked fine, but something wasn't right. Austin, are you listening? I picked up the walkie-talkie and I said, Houston, are you listening? Did not get any response. Every time I tried to start the truck it wouldn't happen. Is there anyone around? My truck stopped. I am stranded on the banks of a desolate Shara. Is there anyone? Only a static sound came in response, but my loud voice kept echoing for a while on the other side. I tried again, nothing happened. I need help. Is anyone listening? Hello, my anxiety is increasing, just the sound of static, no sign of any other driver, no engine noise. Silence became a burden on me. There was no signal on my phone. The nearest town was an hour away and it was not possible to go on foot. I was stuck in a place where there was no one to call and no one to listen. I felt a strange tingling sensation in the back of my neck, when you know something is wrong but you can't exactly tell what, so the feeling you get is, this is what do I do? I was about to head back to the cabin when I noticed a medium pair of headlights in the distance getting closer. Maybe it was a truck. Someone who could help. A wave of relief ran through me, at least there was someone. As the car got closer, I could see that it was an old rickety pickup truck. Maybe he could have given me a lift to my destination. It stopped a few yards ahead of my truck. A man came out. He was tall and thin. Was wearing loose and old clothes. There was dust in his hair, as if he had been on the road for many days. His hoarse and worn-out voice. I asked him in a medium and worn-out voice. He asked, do you need help? For a moment I was not sure what to reply. I was stranded in the wilderness. And it felt weird, but it had what I was looking for. I didn't have the strength to refuse. Ouch, my tooth is spoiled. I'm not sure what the issue is, I said, forcing a smile. I forced a smile and said, I'm not sure what the issue is. It just stopped. The man shook his head slowly. His eyes were towards my truck. I can take a look if you want. He was the only person around and I was trapped. But what should I say? Why? Why not move ahead? He started walking towards my truck at a strange pace. He was walking with very slow steps. I didn't ask him any questions about his truck. I wasn't that interested in the engine. He just stood there. I didn't see the whole thing under the bonnet. His back was to me, and his arms were as white as the hair on my arms. Something felt wrong, as if I was overlooking something important. I took a step back and tried to put some distance between us. His head was bent down towards the moon, he was not moving much. I changed sides at my place. The restlessness kept increasing. It seemed as if he was listening to something. The breeze was a little warm. "Did you notice anything wrong there?" I asked, trying to break the silence. He did not respond at first. Finally, when he turned towards me, he said, "It seems you are facing some difficulty." It almost had a soft tone to it, but I can help it. I have a workshop not too far away. I have some tools there, we can tow your truck and take it to a safe place. There was something in that kind of sound. A pang of nervousness ran down my spine. Whatever felt wrong, kept on being felt. There was something in the way he looked. He wasn't offering any help at all. Like he wasn't offering any help at all. "I appreciate your offer, but I think I will wait. It won't be long before someone comes." The night was somewhat dark and somewhat doubtful. "I will wait." For a moment the man's narrow eyes stared at my truck. He asked, taking a step closer. We kept staring in the light of its moderate headlights. I could feel my heart pounding in my throat. "It could be hours before someone arrives. It is very far away. It is very peaceful here." I knew, and I did not have the strength to express my horror. "Thanks for the offer." I forced a smile and said, "I am sure." The man stared at me for a moment. His eyes looked cold and calculating, as if he were weighing. Then he turned and walked toward his truck. Without saying anything else, his manner, dull and heavy, made it clear that it was not over. I heard the sound of his truck engine, but he did not drive off. I watched as he got into his truck. My hands were shaking as I retreated to the cabin of my truck, searching for the door boner, climbed in and locked the door. I kept waiting and he was still sitting there. I tried to convince myself, his truck is probably broken. He will leave soon. Everything is fine. But the uneasy feeling in my stomach didn't go away. It seemed as if he was waiting for the right time. As if he is planning something. The man's truck was still there. 1 hour passed. My minutes were passing by at a sluggish pace. Lines of sweat were gathering on my palms. The tension grew with the seconds that passed. Suddenly that man's truck moved forward and stopped alongside my truck. My stomach twisted with fear. I saw the expression on his face from his window, illuminated by the dim lights of her dashboard. There was something in his eyes that gave me a strange creepy feeling. But it is unfathomable. He rolled down his window and leaned out. "Are you sure you don't need help?" "Friend," I did not answer. My heart was pounding so hard with every beat I thought it would break my ribs. I picked up my phone again. As far as hope was concerned, it was still empty. Maybe I got the signal. He got out of his truck with a bunch of keys and started walking toward my door. The truck hasn't started yet. In despair, he kept trying unsuccessfully to start the engine. The same dull conversation that began the whole thing sent a wave of panic through my reader's bones. As he came closer, alarm bells started ringing in my mind. My shaking hands held the lowered rearview mirror tightly. If he tries to come in, I will have to defend myself. There was no other way. His voice came, medium and worn out. "Hi." He reached the door. He knocked loudly. "Listen to me." My pulse was thumping in my ears. I was holding the review mirror. Was not able to breathe. Was not making any movement. "Don't make it difficult." It knocked again, louder. It kept echoing in my mind. My mind was working fast. The truck's engine was still not starting. There was no good option. I was stuck. Then I heard the sound of another engine through my rearview mirror, which was coming from far away. As he grabbed the door handle, the medium headlights appeared. Another truck ran into me with hope. Its lights were like light piercing the dark night. The man froze, his hand still on the door handle. When he looked at the car coming from behind, his eyes became narrow. For a moment I thought he would try to come in anyway. But then he turned and walked back to his truck without saying anything. He quickly closed the door. Climbed in and left, disappeared on date night. He was so nervous that he couldn't get out at first. The other truck driver was so different from that man. He was a tall, friendly truck driver who was passing by there. When I told him what happened, he made me wait for 2 hours and then forced me to come out. He offered to stay with me. I don't know how long it took for help to arrive, but the man never returned. That night was the closest I got to real danger in my life. But now I know that his intentions were not good. Even today, when I am driving in a deserted city, I keep my eyes on the road and I never stop even for strangers. The very people who offer to help can also be the most dangerous.